August 13th, roll call. I think everybody is present tonight. Thank you. Attest of publication.
I saw it posted.
Thank you, Joni. Approval of the agenda as we have it in front of us.
I move to approve the agenda.
I second it.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Shelley. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Lisa will read our district mission, vision, and values, and also our Board of Education collective commitment.
Bangor School District Mission, Vision, and Values. Mission, Bangor Pride, a small school building big features. Vision, an innovative small school creating excellence through personalized learning and relationships for all. Values, student-centered, safety, opportunities for all, small class sizes, fiscally sustainable, foster community, continuous improvement, and professionalism. The Board of Education collective commitments. As a member of the Bangor School Board, I will be an active listener who is open-minded, respectful, and inquisitive. Together with one collective voice, we are committed to forward thinking while strategically prioritizing for our students, staff, and community now and into the future.
Thank you, Lisa. Public comment? Barring none, approval of minutes from July 19th.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Lisa and Jessica abstain. Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. State Education Convention, for everyone's information, that is scheduled for January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd in Milwaukee. If you are interested, please notify David by the September meeting if you plan to attend, and that's so we can get some hotel reservations arranged. So by the September meeting, and that is January 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 2026.
It's easier to back out than add later. So if you're considering it, let me get a room for you and we can cancel it later or share it with another school district that needs it later. But I'd rather get them soon.
Thank you. Okay, so for committee reports, the Goals Committee is meeting. We have a meeting planned for Wednesday, September 3rd at 4 p.m. We'll meet here in the district office and we'll prepare for the 2025-2026 school year. And that composes of myself, Tina, Jessica? Yes, I thought so. We meet a couple of times a year, usually September and then February or March. So we will report more about that at our September meeting. Financial documents. Everyone had an opportunity to look those over. Direct any questions to David.
Yeah, I would note here that we have our 3 kind of typical account statements every year, or like we do every month, and then we have the 24-25 budget amendments in there. We'll call this the Joni clause. This is trying to get rid of the entry in our audit that says we didn't update enough times throughout the year. So if any area of the budget changes by more than $1,000 from what we originally set, we have to do this amendment to not get that ding on our audit. So audit was this week, Monday, Tuesday. They knew we were making these adjustments and that it would be in front of the board. I would just stress here that there's no changes. We didn't increase anything that we haven't talked about as a board. Everything has been basically done throughout the year, and this is just kind of a more accurate accounting of where all of the accounts ended. So that's included in the financials for this month. I just wanted to make sure that you guys all had a chance to look at that. If you have any questions, let me know.
If there's no other questions, I make a motion to approve the financials as presented.
Second.
Motion made by motion made by Shelley, seconded by Joni. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. District reports, strategic planning updates. Dr. Brockup.
Yeah, we had our first face-to-face meeting with CISA. As you remember, we had approved to work with CISA over the course of this year to redefine, kind of just look at our strategic mission, vision, and values moving forward. We had a lot of really good conversations in the afternoon that we met. Focusing really around we don't have to be bad to get better, and looking at this, making sure that we are on the right track as a district, and as we're making decisions, we're all pushing in the same direction. I think so much of what was talked about here was reinforced at the PLC conference, and having a clear vision of the direction of the district. So this is kind of the process laid out. So we had an opportunity with the team to kind of talk about what's going well, what needs to be improved, and how do we gather that input from our stakeholders. So this timeline kind of shows our steps throughout the year, starting with that 725 or 718 meeting coming right out of that. The CISA team has been helping collect data. It was really it was nice to sit there, and they're like, well, we'll gather that, and we'll gather that. And that's usually myself gathering it, pulling all that data together, or Josh pulling all that data together, and then we're trying to put it into spreadsheets and make it all visible. They're doing that work for us to kind of look at some of that data that we can use to help make our decision. We will share this tonight, obviously, kind of this timeline moving forward. Those were the conversations coming out of that. We're going to do some information gathering, kind of a Post-it note type activity on 8/28. So during staff in-service, you guys are welcome to be there. I'll put out an email in the next week or two. If you guys want to join us for lunch during in-service, you guys will be welcome to do that. But if you wanted to join us for that session, I'll give you more details on that. Looking at doing a community forum, and we want to do this similar to what we had done pre-capital referendum, where we will invite all of our families, invite community, just on Facebook or whatever. But we're also going to strategically send invitations to a lot of those folks as well. Again, I encourage board members to be there to listen to that listen to that conversation. I'm going to share a little bit, but really CISA is going to kind of lead that process and collect that data from that group. That's going to be towards the end of September. October, we will meet as a admin team in CISA, kind of review all of the data we've collected to that point in time, plan for our 10/29 meeting. Again, you can do this. We can do this with representatives for the board, or if the whole board wants to be included, we've left it open, scheduling it in the evening so we can have all those stakeholders involved with that, where we would take all of that and really start to zero in on what are any changes that we might want to make to our mission, vision, and values. We would bring the first concepts of that to the board in November at our regular meeting, have a full open discussion here about what we like, what the process has yielded, anything you guys have as participants have been able to glean from that, and information that you'd want to share. We would make any tweaks, suggestions based on those discussions as a full board. We would have some time to make some revisions, make some adjustments, gather other information, and we think realistically we could have this ready for full board approval, the updated mission, vision, and values by 12/10 of 25. So by our December meeting. When we talked about it, it made perfect sense to everybody in the room. Yes, that's a reasonable timeline. They're looking at their calendars. We're looking at our calendars. We don't want to rush it. So we do have the ability to stretch it out if it's feeling too rushed, if we're not feeling comfortable with it. But that's an initial timeline of what we're shooting out. And once I've shared that with you, then we'll prepare those invites and get that information out for that first big kind of information gathering session that we plan to hold in September at the 24th. So just kind of give an update on that. And then there's, I think you had seen these really haven't changed, those success indicators and what we hope to kind of produce as part of this process and have ready for approval by the whole board in December. So just giving you an update on what that is, good conversations. and we can answer any questions. Dave wasn't able to be at that meeting, but the other three of us were able to, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have on that.
It does seem fast, but at the same time, the longer you stretch it out, I think you lose some impact and you kind of lose focus. So
Agreed.
I think it's probably best to keep it this structured.
Yep. We had originally said throughout the course of this year. So we have the time, but we don't want it to just get set aside and then not pay any attention to it. We want to continue to focus on it and move it forward. So we'll play it by ear. And if you feel at any point in time as a board we need to slow down, we need to get more input, more ideas before we move forward, then we'll do that at that point in time. And again, we may end up just reaffirming what we are doing, or we may end up with some slight changes to that, or a complete overhaul. I have no idea. We'll let the process guide us for what where we go from here. So yeah, that's a little update on the strategic planning process.
Any questions for David? All right, thank you. High School Athletic Code of Conduct updates.
I'm going to let Brian share a little bit on this. He and Paul worked on this a lot.
Yeah, so Mr. Laxton and myself got together and we looked through the co-curricular code of conduct, and basically we just cleared up some language, changed some names, did a little bit of formatting, but the big chunk that we had to add this year was what's called NIL, the Name, Image, and Likeness Code. Basically, students now can be sponsored by businesses based on their performance. And what we have to do is really outline that to say that it can't be connected with their school, nor can it be connected to how, if they win a game or not. And so it's really making sure that that language is clear moving forward so that students, if they want to, they can, but it has to be separate from the school district.
I think the other thing we found out, Rick was the guy that I just trusted to take care of all that athletic stuff, and it was working. So this had not been formally updated since I think 2018, before the pandemic. So it had many board members that are no longer on the board, had administrators that are no longer here. So other than the NIL language, we made the changes and updated the people and all of those types of things. We did have some good conversations around the academic eligibility that I think will be conversations that we have first at the building level and then kind of take that from there. And we could bring in some stakeholders to have some conversations on those. But right now what we have is working. So we're looking to just get this approved so we have the NIL in place.
I'll make a motion to approve the updated high school code of conduct as presented.
I'll second.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Lisa. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Activity Center snow gates.
Yeah, I think I had let you guys know just a little bit that this was coming, and in talking about it at the Activity Center, especially on the brand new addition, you have the black rubber roof surface. When we had a good snow on that last spring and it all stuck to the roof, stayed there, as soon as it started to warm up and the sun hit that black, all of that snow, no matter how much it is, comes off all at once. And in doing that, on the side with the garage door facing the parking lot, left a 4-foot pile of snow in front of the garage door, making it hard to get in and out of the building, obviously. But it's also was falling on the air conditioner unit. That's not a unit that we want to have damage from tons of snow falling on it. And it also did some damage to there's some exhaust pipes that come through the roof there. With all of that momentum coming, it was too much and bent those. So that's all been repaired, but before we have another winter potential issues, these are guards that go up, they attach to the roof, they hold the snow on the roof. The building is built to hold the snow load and then allows the snow to melt become water, go into the gutters, and be taken away from the building as water instead of a massive amount of snow coming down at once. So we're concentrating on those areas where we have things that we need to protect, and that one garage door and walk-through door area. So $8,100 is the closest estimate that I can get. This would be a product that would be fully warranty, would not void the warranty of our brand new roof. It'd be put on by Lediger, which is the company who did the roof in the first place. So just looking to get that done before snow flies and we cause damage that doesn't need to happen. So looking for approval of $8,100 to install that snow rail.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase and installation of approximately 76 feet of snow rail system on the Bangor Activity Center by Lediger Roofing at a cost of approximately $8,100.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by Shelley. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Personnel, Dr. Brockup.
Yeah, I'll do the first one, and I'll let these guys talk about the rest of them. First one is a resignation from Jessica Jacobson. Jessica's been with the district, I believe, about 8 years, and worked with our special ed population at the elementary school. We really found, and she found, especially some of our students on the autism spectrum, she was a jackknife of different skills to be able to help and support multiple students over her time here. Very appreciated in all of her contributions to the district. Looking to move on, do something different, and spend a little bit more time with family. So looking to approve the resignation for Jessica Jacobson.
I'll make a motion to approve the resignation of special education paraprofessional Jessica Jacobson effective August 1st, 2025.
I'll second.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Jessica. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Then the next position that we are hiring for is the at-risk position at the middle school, high school. We had 11 candidates, 5 of which we interviewed, and in the end, we chose Jessica Mulholland. She's coming from Melman, brings a really deep expertise in standards-based grading, PBIS, and responsive classroom. She has a strong ability to connect with students and really advocate for their needs, and it was really clear throughout the interview process that she's very student-centered. And then another position that we hired for was a paraprofessional. For this one, we had 25 applicants, and in the end, we interviewed 4, and we chose Jeffrey Dietrich, and he's a local resident of Bangor. The best part is that he subs here, and so the bonus there is that he knows a lot of the students. He knows the systems that we have. He's built a positive rapport with many students and understands what teachers do in their classroom. And so the interview committee themselves, they were really enthusiastic about bringing Jeffrey on board with his expertise based on his experiences.
All right, so,
You guys want to act on those two?
Yeah, we'll act on those two
Yep,
first. Okay.
one at a time.
all right,
Yeah,
got it.
no problem. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Jessica Mulholland as middle school, high school at risk, effective for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll do the middle school, high school paraprofessional right away.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Jeff Dietrich as middle school, high school special education paraprofessional effective for the 2025-26 school year.
I'll second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Jessica. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Dave, you can go ahead now.
All right, here we go. So the next hire that we had her name is Julia Steckley, and she's going to be a cook at the elementary. She'll be assisting Jan Kastenschmidt in the kitchen. And so a highlight, and it's the same as what we kind of hired 3 positions out of a group of applicants. So the numbers are the same. We had 25 applicants, and for that for those 3 positions. We interviewed 7 of them. And Julia is her most recent and also her most pertinent experience in regards to this position. She worked in the La Crosse district doing the exact same thing. She was an assistant in the kitchen at Logan High School as well as at Emerson Elementary. And so I was very happy to, we just really got a good feeling about her when we interviewed her, just her demeanor and her sincerity. And that was backed up when I made the reference calls, heard some really good things. So I'm excited to have her on board.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Julia Steckley as cook at Bangor Elementary School, effective for the 2025-2026 school year.
I'll second.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by Jessica. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You can go ahead, Dave.
All right, next up is, so it's kind of a combo position, food service assistant and paraprofessional. And this person will be, he'll be replacing Kathy Coulterman. He'll be working 5 hours a day instead of a full-time position. And his name is Randy Jarvis, and he has, his wife works as a second grade teacher with us. And so we're really lucky to get Randy. So we, again, it was the same deal. We had 25 applicants, 7 interviewees, and, he was outstanding in every way. And, Randy comes to us with some interesting experience. He was in the banking world for quite a while. And before that, near and dear to my heart, he was in the Marine Corps. So not that influenced any decisions, mind you, but anyway, Randy he'll be working he'll be the cashier, entering the students into the computer for breakfast and then as well as lunch, and he'll have some assorted duties in between there. So some of which will be working with kids. So we're excited to have Randy.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Randy Jarvis as part-time paraprofessional at Bangor Elementary, effective the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
Tina? Motion by Shelley, seconded by Tina. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Part-time middle school, high school paraprofessional.
All right, and then the last one is for, it's again a part-time food support service and paraprofessional. 21 applicants, and we ended up interviewing 5 in the end, and we chose Raspberry Downing. Pretty young, so she's had 2 jobs before this, so I reached out to both of those supervisors, and both of them had raving reviews of her, saying she's a quick learner, has a great work ethic, and moved up in multiple positions rather quickly with such a great work ethic. So we're excited to have her on board.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Raspberry Downing as part-time paraprofessional at Bangor Middle School and High School, effective for the 25-26 school year.
I'll second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, moving on to administrative reports. We will start with Mr. Chaplin.
Thanks, Julie. So on here is the preschool and IDEA grant, and these aren't estimated. I should have deleted that there. The actual allocations from the federal government of what we're going to get for the excess costs of special education. We had a slight increase this year. It's not a lot, but if you recall, last year we had a decrease. So any increase is good. So we increased about $2,000 for IDEA, and the preschool one went up $34. So that's always good.
Any questions for Mr. Chaplin? Okay, on to Mr. Luke.
All right, so a few things that I just like. It's kind of funny. I still go to, well, it's only our second meeting, but I went to David again. I said, what do you want me to talk about? Pretty soon I won't have to do that. The training wheels will come off. But anyway, so the first thing I'd like to just mention is our Learning Wagon childcare came to us, I think it was roughly a week ago. And in order to maintain their license for 4K, they need to have a an enclosure, and so it has to be 675 square feet. So we, Dr. Brockup and I both met with Josie, and we, well, I guess he granted permission for that. And so this morning, actually, I met with her husband, who's going to put up the fence. He'll be doing it this weekend, so it will be, we agreed on 20 by roughly 40, which gives him a little more than his 675, but he requested that. I said it was probably fine. So it'll go up against the existing fence, but it will not connect to the existing fence that's along the highway. And that'll give them what they need, and it really won't impact our area for our kiddos at all. So that's happening this weekend. Next up, I just want to talk a little bit about, what's been going on with, at the elementary school. You're probably going to hear a pretty similar story from Brian, but I had a PBIS meeting last week with our team and felt really good about that, and got some great feedback from them as well on how that went. As I plan for most of this first year, my plan is to listen and learn. And so that's most of what I did in that meeting. I gave my input here and there, of course, and that seemed to be pretty well received. So they seemed excited. They seemed energized. Again, like I said, I got some good feedback from that afterwards, and so I'm excited about that and where that's headed. One of the things we really focused on that day is what the first day of school will look like when they go through all the expectations for the kids. Next is the PLC conference, which was referenced earlier by Dr. Brockup. So we were all down there. One of the highlights, you go to all these different sessions and you learn great things. But my favorite part was meeting with the team that I had down there on Tuesday afternoon, and just it was really the first time I was able to meet with a small group. There's 4 of them, and just pick their brains. And really the way I approached it is I just I was doing an inventory for myself, and what have we done well when it comes to PLC, and what do we need to improve at, keeping in mind that we can improve at things even if we've done them well, but I just wanted to get their input on that, and then just give them a chance to talk about whatever they wanted to when it comes to PLC. So that was great. Really enjoyed that. I've strongly encouraged, on the border of required, I said it's probably more required, that each of the PLC teams has met will meet before in-service. Some have already met, some will be meeting. And the reason I did that is because especially with our reading curriculum being new this year, I really felt that if they waited until in-service, they were going to be behind the 8 ball. And so, I think that was really well received. At least that's what I've seen and heard. So it's been really interesting sitting on those meetings, and it's going to be it's in Mike Johnson's lingo, it's going to be a heavy lift. But we're I feel like they're ready to go, and so I'm excited about that as well. Speaking of PLC, so Brian and I talked a little bit. Well, we talked a lot, but we talked some about when we talk about PLC K-12, we'd like to have all things PLC. I'll just say that, essential standards, SLOs, et cetera, in one place. And so that talk led to him creating a document. And I got to tell you that if there was a Taj Mahal of spreadsheets, I would almost call it a database. He created it last weekend. So I'm just going to give him a plug, but I won't steal his thunder. He can talk about that a little bit more when it's his turn. So I'm excited about that. It's a good place for us to house everything that has to do with PLC, and I'm sure we're going to talk about that on the way down to Waukesha here in a few minutes as well. I mentioned the new curricula that we have. So not only do we have the inter-reading, but we also have math expressions, 2 heavy lifts coming up. And the math expressions, not so much, because it's just an update on what we've had for the curriculum. It has taken a lot of time for me to get the appropriate permissions to assign the licenses and so on and so forth. So there's been a lot of back and forth between not only the teachers and myself, but also the company that sells it to us and myself. So it's been quite a bit, but I feel like we're getting a grasp on it now, and we have 2 trainings. Well, we have more than 2. Actually, we have 2 leadership trainings coming up on the 25th of August, And then we also have a math expressions training on the 27th during in-service, and we also have a full day of into-reading training on the 28th. So it's a lot, and I'm reminded by teachers that this is a lot. And so they're taking on an awful lot, and so I'm really trying hard to hold the reins back on myself, so to speak, because I don't want to push too much out at one time. A few things that are happening currently. As you know, registration, it's been great. It's really fun watching Terry in action. I mean, she just handles everything that comes her way, and I've been able to help out here and there, but by and large, she's got it. And then open house will be coming up on the 27th. We're making plans for that. The PTO has some things in store for me, I guess, to introduce me. And lastly, I would just like to say that with our vacancy, with Jessica Jacobson resigning, we have 7 interviewees for on next Monday. So there are some, on paper, what I consider to be really strong applicants. So I'm excited about that, to see what they bring to the table. Any questions? Or that's you're supposed to say
that's
that.
okay.
So, my bad.
Okay.
I do have questions. So.
Does anyone have any
Yeah, I
questions
do.
for Mr. Luke? Go
About
ahead.
the fencing, I'm having a hard time visualizing this. So number one, I'm assuming the Learning Wagon is funding it?
They are putting it in. So to allow 4-year-olds, they have to have a fenced-in area. My former district, we had 4-year-old program. They put in a temporary, so there's no concrete in the ground. They're just going to pound the stakes in the ground. It'll be like a chain link, but it won't be like permanently fixed. We're putting it at the far back of our playground. Our kids won't go in it and play with it. It's not taking away space from our kids. They'll be responsible for mowing inside it. We'll mow around the outside of it. We talked about these things with them. And it allows them to jump through one more hoop and have 4-year-olds here. And they have a lot of desire to have that wraparound care for 4-year-olds. And this allows us to serve more families with that wraparound care because of that. So
the 4-year-olds have to be contained within this fence or whatever that are attending.
Well, they have to have the fence.
Okay.
If it's just 4-year-olds out there, but they can do a field trip to our playground anytime they want.
Okay, that's what I was asking. I just want to make sure if a 4-year-old gets out of the fence or forgotten to be put in the fence, we're not liable for any injuries, right?
It is a hoop that we are not spending any money on that allows Learning Wagon Daycare to serve our community better. Yes, and it won't affect negatively our kids at all whatsoever.
If I could add just one tidbit to that, when I met today with Josie's husband, I made it clear that, and he actually said it first, but I reiterated that we don't want it to be extra work for our grounds crew. So he said he will take care of it. As far as weed eating around the fence and all that, he'll take care of that. They're going to have a gate. I measured the mowers that we use here, and it's going to be big enough for our mowers to go in, take just a couple swaths. It's not going to take much. It's not a very big enclosure, but it's fun. When it comes to weed eating around the fence and all that, I said that's going to be on him, and he gladly accepted that. So.
It'd be too far away. They have to cross the street to get there and all that type of stuff. I agree, but yeah.
I appreciate everyone thinking about these details about the fence and the weeding and Lisa's questions. So that's good. All right. Mr. Wopat.
As we geared up towards August, there's a lot more activity in the building. The best part is that at the middle high school, we're fully staffed. And so one of the joys that I've had over the past couple of weeks is as teachers, secretaries, and paras are in the building just trying to get ready, is just to meet them, listen to them, try to build that trust, the personal capital with them. And so it's exciting to just know that it's not going to be too long, and not only are the teachers going to be here, but also the students. Mr. Luke talked about the PLC conference that we went to last week. Incredibly powerful in terms of evaluating where we are as a school and where do we want to go. And so, having those conversations with Rick too of what he's done in the past. So some of the stuff that looking forward, so I went to West Salem to look at the standards-based grading and talk to their curriculum director, knowing that staff has already gone to to West Salem and talked to those teachers. Reached out to Cashton and met with the principal there because we've worked with them in the past as well. And in the end, listening to staff and having that chance to bond with them to learn, okay, having a really clear picture of where we are, but then also to then consider, okay, where do we want to go? So Guiding Coalition has met. We talked a lot through a lot of like the challenges that we've had over the past years, but then bringing back what we learned at the PLC conference to know, okay, these are the steps that we have to take in order to move ourselves into the future. And so just working with Mr. Luke and saying, okay, we have to admit that we're not a 612 building and you're not a K5 building, that we are K12. And it's extremely important that the art teacher up here is able to collaborate and talk with and work with the art teacher at the elementary school. And so even though you think, well, all they have to do is just go talk to each other, it's really about being specific in PD days, that when we set time aside, that it's not being used up at the elementary or at the middle high school, that we're giving them that time to collaborate. And then, like he said, having gone through the PLC process myself, like every administrator has their own vision of how this works, and people take things away. And so it's really being on the same page in terms of what do we expect from our staff so that we can further student learning, because in the end of the day, that's what we want to do. And there are those four questions to the PLC process. Well, how are we going to communicate that clearly to staff so they know exactly what's expected of them so that, again, they can then build that curriculum to best meet our students' needs. And so it's really exciting because coming into this year, now Guiding Coalition decided for the middle and high school that they're going to focus on establishing those learning targets and establishing the success criteria that they need to move forward. And knowing that every team is in a different spot, that at least for me then to be able to support each one of those teams. And then being very clear of, okay, what's step one? What is step two? What is step three along that process? Because again, we're not all in the same place, but we don't want to prevent a team from moving forward either. But we also have to support the teams that need that support. And then the other thing that the Guiding Coalition decided to focus on this year was just student engagement. And selfishly, right away, I was like, yes, because it's going to force me to get into the classrooms to observe, to be able to see what is student engagement for you, and then to be able to work with the staff to have those conversations and really dig deep in terms of how do we want to make sure that we're not just reaching a couple of the students that are just paying attention, but all of our students. And so a lot came out of the PLC conference and just to be able to have that focus for this year. And then the last thing that I want to just bring up is yesterday and today was registration, and we have an incredible community. And as a new person coming into Bangor, to just be in the office and to hear parents come in and say, is Mr. Wolpad in? I'd like to meet him. I've given probably 17 tours of the building. And as much as I'd like to say that I know, where everything is, I don't still because we haven't gone through school yet. But just to do that job, to walk them around and just, I don't know, try to emit that pride that we have in Bangor, and then to see the kids as they leave oh, okay, I'm excited to go back to school, And so it's been a really great past 2 days just to see things start to really ramp up.
Any questions for Brian? Thank you. Dr. Brockup?
If you didn't catch it from what they're working on, these guys are both doing the work and building the relationships. The PLC conference was outstanding opportunity for that, and we had some fun as well. Thanks to Brad Paff's office, we got a chance to tour the Capitol Dome again and go all the way to the very tip top of that and stand up there. So it's pretty amazing. I think everybody enjoyed that experience as well. So these guys are doing a great job and building those relationships. And it's going to be exciting when kids walk in here in just a couple weeks. Wanted to share real quickly, I had shared with you that we would be hosting that WASBO conference, which is the custodial conference. That there were 4 of them across the state. That happened on July 16th. We had 170 participants. This was ground zero for that. You know, the main presentations and everything were in here. 19 exhibitors filling the main hallway, the whole length of the hallway, all kinds of demonstrations. They used every classroom. They used the gym. They used the whole building, and the custodial staff just did an amazing job of having that all ready to go. Breakout sessions. I gave tours of the facilities after the referendum work and all of that type of stuff with some pretty rave reviews there, and just a really great couple days. Our custodial crew competed in a couple of competitions, and they won one and got second place in another one out of all the school districts that were there. So they did a great job, and the positive comments about the district and just how nice everything looked was really great that day. So wanted to share a little bit on that. We did get notified this week we'll be hosting sectional track again, so look for calendar adjustment with that half day coming. One of our next meetings, because we never want to just leave the calendar, as is. But we'll probably look to add that on May 29th for this school year. And then just a quick update, our Scenic Bluffs Conference Commissioner, we ended our relationship with our former one at the end of this past year. We interviewed today. We had 5 interviews in Royal. We had representation from all the school districts. I had a unanimous first choice, and hoping to get all that locked in place and ready to go. They are where they need to be, but it's going to be quickly falling behind on scheduling games and scheduling officials if we don't get that in fully in place fairly soon. So we anticipate having that all taken care of by the end of the week, and just wanted to share that I was part of that process, and I feel good about where we are as a conference. And it is very much I had not met face-to-face our conference commissioner in 4 years, and I don't think that will be an issue anymore. We will see them. They will be here to hand out conference trophies. They will be at the conference meetings, and all of those types of things. We made that very clear that would be part of the expectation. So good day, long day of interviews, but I think a good end result for the conference.
Any questions for Dr. Baraka?
Well, I don't care who answers it, but how many did we send to PLC? Did any board members go this time?
We didn't take board member this year. We had 13, and the reason for that is we wanted as many guiding coalition members as we could for the 2 buildings. So we had as much representation as we could for that. So that was the goal. I think originally when we thought maybe we would hire one of these guys a year for the next 2 years, we were going to take kind of all of one staff or guiding coalition in 1 year and a board member, and when they both decided to go at the same time, our focus changed to getting as many guiding coalition members as possible.
Thank you. Removal of items from the consent agenda. On our consent agenda tonight, we have current openings, which are listed. The hiring of some middle school football coaches. Early graduation request. And I
Is
think
this
that's
something-
it.
We don't have to take that to closed session. If you have questions, we can take it to closed session because we won't discuss the student name.
Yeah.
But it is a recommendation from administration similar.
Which part?
I think both. I was just wondering if we are able to take it to closed session or not.
We can. I mean, we can adjourn to closed session and.
From the consent agenda to closed session?
Yep. So you want to move to closed session?
Yeah, we can, someone can make a motion that they would like to, and it says that right in our packet that you can,
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda to closed session.
oh,
Yeah.
no, you want to make a motion to move to closed session.
Just to move to closed session to.
So we can talk about it.
Yep.
I just had a quick question for you.
Okay, and I will need a second.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Tina, seconded by Shelley to move to closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Can,
I'm going to bring the 2 principals with me.
yep.
If that's
Yep, that sounds good. Thank you. Thank you. Hey,
What did I get it for?
We are back in open session, and we are at the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Shelley to approve the consent agenda as listed. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I ask for adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shelley, seconded by Lisa to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, everyone.